Jefferson in the finals of the 1992 North Star Hockey Classic. But first, a pregame show. We'll chat with Moorhead coach Terry Cullen in just 1 minute. Okay, if you hear a score on the Spud basketball game, will you pass that along too? They lost last night, huh? Okay, yeah, see if you can find out something. Maybe call one of the TV stations or something like that. Give me 2 minutes on this break. Yeah. All right. My guest on the pregame show, the head coach of the Spuds, Terry Cullen, and congratulations. You had to wipe the brow, I would assume, a few times in the third period.
Yeah, I grew a lot there. I got old real quick, to be honest, but our kids showed a lot of fortitude and really kept persevering and worked really hard and got through that tough time when Hill Murray really sparked.
I think you have to point to confidence. The confidence didn't wane even when Hill Murray was only a goal down.
Well, confidence was a great factor in our favor last night. We came out in the opening face-off and really played very well. We played with a great deal of confidence, and we continued that through 2 periods, and after 2 we were ahead 3-1, and it should have been more. They got the momentum swung their way in the third, but we didn't give in. We didn't, back off. We continued to be aggressive and came up with some big goals of our own and maintained to come away with the win.
You talked about your defensive scheme and what you had tried to accomplish last night. I take it you were a little disappointed with the final result, even though you did win.
No, very happy for 2 periods plus. I mean, all but about 11 minutes there in the final period when things kind of broke loose for them and against us. Other than that, I thought defensively we played quite well. We have to get a little stronger mentally and maintain a little more composure and continue to take the body consistently like we did early.
Offensively, I think you have to be really pleased to get scoring production out of all 3 lines last night. That had to be a big key.
Well, yeah, it was. The previous night, Arnold's line came up with 5, and I believe last night they got 1, and we think we have 3 really strong lines, and that's a big asset to our team. And last night, all 3 of them played very well, and tonight they're going to have to play at least as well.
Both your son Matt and Brett Knutson scored their first goals of the year. I know they were kind of pressing for a while. Does that take a big weight off of their shoulders?
Well, I think so. They both had a lot of chances, and it's always nice to get that first one. The next one seems to come a lot easier, so hopefully that'll be the case tonight.
Tonight, though, I have to assume you're facing a totally different team, maybe a team up another notch above Hill Murray.
Maybe. They certainly are a very talented team. There's no question about that. They have the respect of everyone, including ourselves. We certainly respect them, but we are not in awe of Bloomington Jefferson. I have no problem saying that. We are not in awe of them at all. We feel that we are at least as quick as they are, and we're going to have a heck of a battle tonight, I'm sure of it.
You saw Jefferson in the championship game of the state tournament last year. I'm sure you had a chance to watch them a little bit last night. Are there any weaknesses or any weak links in their lineup?
I don't think there's any glaring weaknesses at all. Their goaltending is somewhat questionable because he doesn't get a lot of shots. We thought if we had been able to in the final game last year get a little more pressure to him, we thought maybe we could have gotten a couple more behind him. But that's to be seen yet too. We'll have to see if we can get to him and then if we can get him by. But they're a very strong team. They've got 4 really good defensemen. They've got 3 strong lines. They skate well. They handle the puck exceptionally well. They're a very well-disciplined, well-coached team.
I know they like to use a physical game as well as a fast type of game. Is that going to work in their favor at all?
Well, I don't know. I watched them last night, and I didn't see them being physical at all. So I don't expect a real physical game tonight. I expect both teams to play the body. I expect it to be very clean, very well-played game is what I expect.
Who is in nets for the Spuds tonight?
Jeremy Gregoire is going in the nets. He played very well against Roseville, and he's a very strong goaltender, so he's going to go for us tonight.
What's the key then for the Spuds, Terry?
Well, I think there's a couple of key areas. Number one, our forechecking has to be quick. It has to be aggressive. We have to take the man. Another big factor for us is that we have to pick up the open man as they enter our zone. They like to drop the puck. They like to use the trailer. They like to exploit the whole offensive zone, and we have to make sure we pick up open people and not allow them to make the moves, the passing moves that they do.
Very good, Terry. Thanks for chatting with us, and good luck tonight in your rematch against Jefferson.
Thank you.
That's the head coach of the Moorhead Spuds, Terry Cullen, and we'll chat with the head coach of the Bloomington Jefferson Jaguars, Tom Satterdahl, when we return in just 2 minutes. My guest on the pregame show, the head coach of the Bloomington Jefferson Jaguars, Tom Satterdahl. And first of all, Coach, congratulations, a fine-looking team this year.
Well, thank you very much. It's just a good group of kids to be around. I was just talking with Tim Cullen, just saying that the kids are leaders in school, they're leaders in the community, and they're just a class group of kids.
I know you haven't had a team around like this for a long time, although last year's team was very close. That won the state championship. How close does this team mirror last year's team, and what is their prognosis? I mean, how far can they actually go?
Well, you know, the kids are going to go as far as they can go. I mean, it's going to be up to them because they do have a lot of talent. They've got a lot of skill. You know, if we just keep them going in the right direction, that's what we've got to do. And they're a great group of kids, like I say. They're fast and they're strong. And, you know, we've got a really great game tonight. We're looking forward to this one because, you know, it's a rematch of last year.
You haven't had really any close games yet so far. Is that a concern at all?
Well, our game with Elk River was 4-1. And you know, no, that's not a concern because the kids just go about their business. They just get out there and work, and you know, one of the things when you say about, you know, you got to be worried about how they play, but yet every one of these kids except for the third line played last year against Cloquet, and that was a pretty close game. And you know, they all played against Moorhead in the finals. So these kids have all played under pressure before and, you know, played very well.
I've heard some whispers around Met Center tonight that it was just about a year ago that you lost your last game here in this building to Hill Murray in the first round of this tournament. Does that play in the back of the minds of the kids at all?
These kids don't even think about that. They don't think anything negative. They just think positive things, and I don't bring it up either. I was just kind of thinking to myself, a lot of times the team that wins this thing, you know, really flattens out in January, doesn't play well. I think about White Bear Lake last year. I mean, they were the talk of the state, and we played them the next week and tied them 2-2, and you know, actually we outshot them 39-21 or something like that, and you know, they kind of plateaued at this tournament. And in other years, though, the winner of this tournament, whether it be Moorhead or us, you know, the other winners of this tournament have gone on and won the state title too, so there's no hex on anything like that. So, you know, we're just looking forward to a great game. It's going to be a great skating game. I think the people are going to see a lot of skill out there.
That's the head coach of the Bloomington Jefferson Jaguars, Tom Satterdahl, and as you could tell, our tape started to die there just a little bit, and we apologize for that. Satterdahl went on to say that the key for the Jaguars tonight is to use their strength and size to knock Moorhead off the play. So it'll be the strength and size of the Bloomington Jefferson Jaguars against the speed and finesse of the Moorhead Spuds in the championship round of the 1992 North Star Hockey Classic. That's a look at our pregame show. We'll come back and take a look at the starting lineups for tonight's game in just 2 minutes. Paul Moore with you tonight on KVOX. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for tonight's contest between Bloomington Jefferson and the Moorhead Spuds. First of all, for the Jaguars, they come in with a record of 8-0 overall. They will start in goal, senior Randy Keppel. And in the 5 games that Keppel has appeared in, he has allowed 7 goals, recorded 65 saves, has a save percentage of 90.3. His goals against average, a very respectable 1.40. He is 5-0 with 1 shutout. On defense will be Corey Peterson, a senior, 4 goals and 3 assists for 7 points. And Dusty Anderson will start at the other defensive area, 2 goals and 7 assists for 9 points. The starting front line for Jefferson tonight: at center, junior Joe Bianchi, 6 goals and 9 assists for 15 points so far for little Joe. At right wing will be John D. St. Hubert, a goal and 11 assists for 12 points. And at left wing will be Court Lundeen, a senior, 9 goals and 8 assists for 17 points. The other front lines for the Jaguars: Nick Checo will center Tim McDonald and Matt Jones. All 3 are seniors. And junior Ian Peterson will center Mike Skoglund on the right and Luke Murray on the left. All three are juniors. The other defensive pairing is Mike Crowley, a junior, with Brian LaFleur, a senior. Scott Ludwig is an extra defenseman for Jefferson that may see some action in the third period. And the backup goaltender tonight for the Jaguars will be junior Jeff Pyle. For the Moorhead Spuds, they will start in goal junior Jeremy Gregoire. He comes into the contest appearing in 3 games so far, has given up 7 goals, recorded 31 saves. He has a save percentage of 81.6. His goals against average is 2.33. He has a 3-0 record and no shutouts. The starting front line for the Spuds tonight, starting at center, junior Ryan Kraft leads the team in scoring with 7 goals and 7 assists for 14 points. At right wing will be senior Louis Paquin, 2 goals and 5 assists for 7 points. Junior Brett Knutson will start at left wing. He has a goal and 3 assists for 4 points. The defenseman, sophomore Joel Jameson, 2 goals and 5 assists for 7 points. And senior Justin Wegner, 2 goals and 4 assists for 6 points for Justin Wegner. That is correct. And the other front lines for the Moorhead Spuds, Josh Arnold centers Greg Salvovold on the right, Jim Jacobson on the left, and Matt Cullen will center Ryan Frisch on the right wing and John Haberlack on the left wing. Scott Winans, Rory Corton, and Jason Redfield are the extra forwards, and Billy Upgrand may also see some action on defense along with Dan Frisch and Rob Grammer. So those are the look at the starting lineups in tonight's contests. When we come back to Met Center, we'll have some more pregame chatter, look at the scores from earlier today, and update you on the scoreboard. We'll be back in just 2 minutes. I'm all set. Back at Met Center earlier today in the 1992 North Star Hockey Classic, in the 7th place game, Roseville defeated Anoka by a score of 6-5. It was Burnsville over Edina, 3-2 in overtime for the consolation championship. Burnsville coming back after losing to Hill Murray on the first game on Saturday by a 3-2 score. They beat Roseville yesterday and then Edina earlier today. In the 3rd place game, it was a pretty good contest. Hill Murray defeated White Bear Lake by a score of 3-2. White Bear tied the game with 2.5 minutes to play, but then Hill Murray scored with just under 16 seconds to play to win it 3-2 in the 3rd place contest. And then, of course, tonight, Moorhead playing Bloomington Jefferson in the title game. We'll have that one for you in just a short while, as soon as the teams get back from the dressing room. Some other scores called in from the West. They'd beaten Roseville in their first game 6-1, then shut out White Bear Lake 9-0. They beat Elk River 4-1. Top Park Center 7-0. Beat Burnsville 6-0. Walloped Grand Rapids 12-2. Beat Anoka 8-2, and then White Bear Lake here 9-3. Those last 2 games in this tournament. The Jaguars average 7.6 goals a game, while allow an average of 1.1. They've outscored their opponents 61-9. A very, very impressive hockey club. Of course, the Jefferson was just the better team in that contest, and the Spuds are hoping for a little better showing. In Redfield, those 4 players or 5 players were not on the team last year. So the whispers, at least from some of the hockey buffs here at Met Center this evening, was that, well, it's time for Jefferson to lose another game at Met Center. Only time will tell. They're introducing Moorhead's starting lineup.
Number 8, Jim Jacobson.
They're announcing all of the Spuds, treating this one exactly like a state championship contest. And so while we have this opportunity, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with the opening face-off. You're listening to Spud Hockey on KVOX.
Number 15, John Hickola.
2 minutes. Yep.
Number 16, Greg Sullivan. Number 17.
Yeah, call one of the TV stations. Ask for their sports department.
Number 18, Bill Costred. Number 30, Troy Brecky. And the starting lineups for Moorhead. In goal, number 1, Jeremy Gregorian.
Somebody going to run down there and tell him how to pronounce his name?
Defense, number 6, Justin Wagner.
What? Yeah.
And number 13, Joel Jefferson. The center is number 19, Ryan Pratt. And the wings are number 4, Brent Knudsen. And number 20, Louis Takewood. Coaches of the squad there, Terry Cullen and Jerry Shirtley. Now the team roster for Jefferson. Number 1, Jeff Peel. Number 11, Ian Peterson. Number 12, Tim McDonald. Number 14, Scott Ludwig. Number 16, Luke Murray. Number 17, Matt Jones. Number 21, Nick Checo.
Once again, we're glad we're down here in the Twin Cities, John, because it's very warm, 21 degrees, although there is some drizzle, which is frozen at times, making the roads just a big slick, but nonetheless, much more comfortable down here weather-wise than up in the Red River Valley. Just one adjustment to the Bloomington Jefferson starting lineup. They will start Brian LaFleur and Mike Crowley on defense instead of Corey Peterson and Dusty Anderson, as we had originally been told. And the front line, Joe Bianchi, Court Lundeen, and John D. St. Hubert remains the same. The Jefferson Jaguars, as we mentioned, with some impressive scoring statistics. They're led in scoring by Matt Jones and Court Lundeen, each with 17 points. Mike Crowley is 16, Joe Bianchi 15, 14 for Brian LaFleur, and 12 for Ian Peterson, 11 apiece for Ian Peterson and Nick Checo. They're going to have the national anthem, so we'll have the opening faceoff of tonight's game in just 90 seconds. Recorded and sung by Whitney Houston a couple of Super Bowls ago, and they're expecting a Super Bowl tonight. Probably the two top-ranked teams now in the state of Minnesota, facing off in the championship round of the 1992 North Star Hockey Classic. Live from Met Center, the Moorhead Spuds and the Bloomington Jefferson Jaguars. Good evening once again, everybody. Tom Palmer with you tonight, and we are expecting a dandy. The keys to tonight's contest for the Spuds, they've got to get in the passing lanes of Bloomington Jefferson, and according to Coach Terry Cullen, they don't want to let Jefferson get into their offensive buzz and start passing the puck to open people in the offensive zone. They've got to pick up the open people, according to what Coach Cullen says. For Jefferson, they want to use their size and strength to their advantage and try to knock Moorhead off the puck as they enter the offensive zone. The Spuds in their visiting black uniforms tonight with white and orange trim. Jeremy Gregoire defending the goal to my left. Jefferson in their home white uniforms with Kelly blue and navy blue trim. And goaltender Randy Keppel defending the goal to my right. Once again, the starting front line for Jefferson, Joe Bianchi, Court Lundeen, and John D. St. Hubert. We're glad you're with us on KVOX. Joe Bianchi will take the draw against Ryan Kraft. And these two players saw a lot of each other in last year's state hockey tournament. Linesman is set, and we're underway. The Spuds win the draw. It comes back into the zone. Justin Wegner chases it down, spins it, headmans the center ice to Kraft. Kraft coming up across the blue line, stops. He's hit off the play by Bianchi, and now carrying back is Brian LaFleur. LaFleur coming into the Moorhead zone. He's tripped up, and we're going to get a penalty, and the Spuds right away, a hooking call. And I believe it'll be Justin Wegner going off for the Spuds. Just 16 seconds into the first period. So Jefferson, 6 of 7 on the power play in this tournament, are on the power play right off the bat. And the Jaguars have out the power play of Nick Checo, John D. St. Hubert on the left wing, Court Lundin in the right wing, Bianchi and Mike Crowley on the points. And the Jaguars control with D. St. Hubert. Puck worked free in the near corner, and then it's picked up by a Spud. Ryan Kraft. Kraft then has it taken away by Nick Checo. Checo on the near wing boards, getting around Arnold. Arnold knocks him off the play. Puck sticked around to the far wing boards, and the Spuds will get it. Ryan Kraft fires it all the way down. Kraft heads to the bench on a line change, and Joe Bianchi starts back for Jefferson. Coming up the left wing boards, the junior center iceman flips it to the Moorhead line, where it's intercepted by Josh Arnold and dumped back into the Jefferson zone. Giving chase is Haberlack, going to the boards with Checo. Haberlack gets there first, trying to scrape it loose. Haberlack doing some nice stick work in behind the Jefferson cage. Then he's knocked to the ice by Checo. And back come the Jaguars with Mike Crowley up the left wing boards. Crowley across the Moorhead line, putting on a power move, coming to the side of the cage, trying to center. He does so, and a shot goes wide by one of the Jaguars. D. St. Hubert gets it back, sends it over the far wing boards to Court Lundin, back to the point to Crowley. Tried to return it to Lundin, but it's knocked away by Matt Cullen momentarily. Now Lundin gets it back. He's knocked off the play. Good pressure put on by the Spuds on their penalty kill. Now comes back to the point to Bianchi. He tried to pass, but it's knocked away by the Spuds' Arnold. It ends up in behind the Moorhead cage. Arnold gets it, flips it up ahead now to Robbie Grammer, and he'll fire it all the way down. This one comes right on goal, and Keppel has to make the first save of the contest. Now the puck flips high into the air at center ice. Greg Salvovold knocks it down, tries to poke it up ahead to Louis Paquin. Keppel comes out of the net to knock it away from Paquin and almost missed the puck. Now Crowley carrying back. He can't get to it. It squirts right in front of the Jefferson cage, and Bianchi is there. Center ice pass now to Nick Checo. Checo coming across the center ice red line, knocked off the play by Salvovold. Coming into the zone knows Matt Jones. He's knocked down. And another Moorhead penalty. A holding call, and it's going to go against Louis Paquin. Wegner's penalty is down to just 3 seconds. Time of Paquin's penalty is 2:13, and so the Spuds spending some time in the sin bin here early in the first period. And Jefferson going back. Now they'll have a 3-second two-man advantage, and then will keep their power play unit on. And they have out now Tim McDonald at center with Ian Peterson and Matt Jones on the front line. LaFleur and Corey Peterson back at the points. Spuds getting their 3 players set now. Kraft takes the draw, but it comes back to Matt Jones. Jones sent it back to the point to LaFleur. Now sends it rink wide. A shot and a goal by Tim McDonald on the power play. And Jefferson quickly leads 1-0 at the 2:20 mark. Nicely set up. And Jefferson quickly out on top. For McDonald, his 5th goal of the year. And the Spuds are now back to full strength. We'll wait to see who get the assists. It's fired cross ice to McDonald, who had an open net, and Gregoire could not get over in time.
Scoring on the power play for Jefferson, number 12, Tim McDonald. Assisted by number 17, Matt Jones. And number 9, Brian LaFleur.
Jones and LaFleur pick up the assists.
Jones and LaFleur on the power play at 2:20.
And it's 1-0 Jefferson. And the puck is flipped on a play off the center ice faceoff, so the faceoff will come inside the Jefferson blue line here. 12:31 to play in period number 1. Jefferson quickly out on top. Let's see if the Spuds now can come back on the faceoff. Wegner gets control. His shot hits traffic. Rebounds for the far wing boards. Dusty Anderson in behind his own cage now, up ahead to Corey Peterson. Now on the near wing boards, Tim McDonald had it taken away by Greg Salvovold. He'll leave it for Arnold. He flips it into the Jefferson zone. Jacobson tries to play it ahead, but it's knocked out into center ice by Jefferson. Wegner now plays it ahead to Salvovold. He's hit hard on a check by Corey Peterson, who threw around his weight a lot in the first 2 games, and he loves to put some bodies on the ice. Now Salvovold comes in, overskates the puck. It's lost by Corey Peterson. Salvovold gets it back. Is tied up by Dusty Anderson. Arnold, though, carries on for the Spuds. Arnold being watched by Corey Peterson, knocks it in behind to Salvovold. Right back to Arnold. It went through his skates. It comes around to Jacobson, but he can't get it. It's fired to the line. Not out. Held in nicely by the Spuds. They're going to change on the fly, and Dusty Anderson will start back for Jefferson. Anderson skating to center ice. Long pass to Tim McDonald off the back of his skate. Nick Checo flips it into the Moorhead zone. Spuds now try to break out. Grammer up ahead to Paquin, but it's knocked in by John D. St. Hubert. Rob Grammer chasing it down now in behind his own cage for Moorhead. Grammer coming out with right wing pass to Paquin. Paquin, though, is knocked out the play nicely by Joe Bianchi. And the puck finally squirts out to center ice, but D. St. Hubert knocks it back into the Moorhead zone. Gets by a check by Grammer. D. St. Hubert coming in. A shot goes wide. Comes around to the end boards, held in by Brian LaFleur. His shot coming wide to the near wing corner. It's Bianchi playing it back for Jefferson to D. St. Hubert. Back to the point now. Spinning is LaFleur. A quick shot saved by Gregoire. The rebound and a goal by Joe Bianchi. And Jefferson leads by a score of 2-0. The Spuds are screaming for interference in front, but the goal will count. Time of the goal is 4:09. And Jefferson looks very good here early in the period. Good play by Bianchi. Spuds were hoping that the referees would call a man in the crease, but no such luck. Here come the Spuds back now with Cullen. LaFleur picks up the only assist, and now the Spuds bring the puck in offside. For Bianchi, his 7th goal of the year. And for the first time this year, Spuds, at least in this tournament, Spuds starting out a little bit slow against a much better Bloomington Jefferson team. Better team than they've faced in the first 2 games. Now it's Ryan Frisch centering into the slot to Haberlack. He'll poke it to the near wing boards. Back to Frisch. He tries to skate through a check. Is tackled by Corey Peterson. And now back comes Bloomington Jefferson with Ian Peterson. Center ice pass too far for Skoglund, but Skoglund is able to steal and kicks it into the Moorhead zone. Wegner is back for it. Plays it in behind. Stolen by Ian Peterson for Jefferson. Ian Peterson now circling into the slot. Drops it back to the point to Corey Peterson. A weak backhander comes right on Gregoire gloves and hangs on. 10:05 to play here in period number 1. 2-0 Jaguars. More complete than ever, Bearings and Drives of North Dakota is your one-stop industrial and agricultural supplier. From the farmer or contractor to the homeowner, they have what you need. Bearings and Drives in Fargo, Moorhead, and now in Grand Forks. 2-0 Jaguars face off to Gregoire's left in the Moorhead zone. 10:05 to play here in the first period. If you've just joined us, Jaguars a couple of quick goals. One in the power play, one even strength. And they control the face-off now. Nick Checo drops it back to the point. A shot by LaFleur, gloved by Gregoire, and again he hangs on to the rebound. 5 shots on goal for the Jaguars so far, 1 for the Spuds, and that was another concern for Coach Cullen, was trying to get some shots on goal on goaltender Randy Keppel. Spuds feel that may be the one weak link to Jefferson is goaltending, but Jefferson never allows more than 20 shots a game. On the face-off, Jaguars controlling. Here's Checo. Checo being knocked to the ice nicely by Dan Frisch. Puck comes loose to Salvavold. He'll play it now to Josh Arnold. Arnold skating out of his own zone. Playing it now into the Jefferson zone. Tried to pass in front. The puck squirts right to the side of the net. Now Salvavold and one of the Jaguars tussling at one another. And they'll be separated and might be sent to the sin bin. That was Salvavold and Brian LaFleur. Well, they'll skate to their respective benches. Keppel is credited with a save on that shot on goal by Arnold, a very weak one. 9:28 to play, 2-0. Jaguars out on top here in the first period. Spuds now send out Ryan Kraft's line against the Joe Bianchi line for Bloomington Jefferson. Face off to Keppel's left. And the Jaguars win the draw. Here's Corey Peterson, knocks it in behind, too far for Dusty Anderson, but D. St. Hubert gets it cleared to the line. It does come out, and offside is called on the Spuds as they fire it back in. Action at Thief River Falls. Pre-game show at 7:15 that is, and our play-by-play at 7:30. Paquin takes the draw for the Spuds, wins it to Kraft, back to Jameson, a pass ahead to Kraft, goes into the Jaguar zone. Dusty Anderson is there first for the Jaguars, clears it up ahead now to Court Lundin on the left wing. Plays ahead to Bianchi at center ice. He's rubbed out of play by Kraft. Now Louis Paquin picks it up for the Spuds. Paquin tried to play it up ahead, but has it intercepted by Corey Peterson. Now the Spuds get it, fire it back into the Jaguar zone. Dusty Anderson backcourt, spinning in behind his own cage. Will send it to Court Lundin on the left wing boards. A breakout to Bianchi up the left wing side at center ice, dumps it into the Moorhead zone, and icing is called on Bloomington Jefferson. So with 8:38 to play, look at the face-off back of the Jaguar zone. 2-0 Jefferson. Goals by Tim McDonald and Joe Bianchi. McDonald on the power play from Jones and LaFleur, and Bianchi from LaFleur at 4:09. Those goals coming less than 2 minutes apart. Face off to Keppel's left once again. Matt Cullen wins the draw, back to Dan Frisch to put a weak shot in behind. Rebound off the end boards, gathered in by LaFleur. Skiers it up to Mike Skolin, now center ice pass to Ian Peterson. Peterson coming in with a fired shot, and the save by Gregoire. The rebound cleared away to the near wing boards. Controlled though by the Jaguars. Ian Peterson back to Crowley. He'll send it back to the point to LaFleur. A shot hit the post. Cleared away by the Spuds, back to the point. Crowley holds it in for the Jaguars. Gets it to LaFleur, who knocks it to the far wing corner. Play carries on now with Ian Peterson over skating, and now Rob Grammer comes back for the Spuds, and the Spuds just very disoriented. They try to clear, but it's held in by Luke Murray. In behind, he sends it to Ian Peterson. He tries to center. That hits traffic. Clear to the line, not out. Held in by Crowley. A weak wrist shot goes in behind the Moorhead cage. Puck ends up in the far corner, and now played back to the near corner by Jefferson. Crowley holds it in behind now, and a pass by Mike Skolgren hits the side of the cage. Now Skolgren centers. It's blocked by Matt Cullen, but he can't clear the zone, and Jefferson is just skating all over the Spuds. Now a centering pass to Ian Peterson is no good, and now the cage is knocked off its moorings, and the face-off will come outside the zone. Good pressure put on by Bloomington Jefferson, and a nice round of applause from the Jaguar fans. 7.5 minutes to go here, first period. The Jaguars lead by a score of 2-0. Nick Checo's line comes out now against Tim McDonald and Matt Jones, or with Tim McDonald and Matt Jones against the Josh Arnold line for the Spuds. Here's Wegner now carrying the center ice, flips it in. It comes right on to Keppel. It wasn't on goal, but he decided to hang on with the Spuds buzzing all around the net. Face off to Keppel's left. 7:23 to play. Puck puck is dropped, and Arnold wins the draw. Back to Jacobson, a shot that hits traffic and stolen by Corey Peterson. His center ice pass knocked away by Joel Jamieson, who fires it right back into the Jefferson zone. Dusty Anderson back after it to Tim McDonald. McDonald loses control, and a shot from the point by Wegner goes wide. Jacobson with it, pass right to the crease, knocked down by Dusty Anderson. He'll poke it out to center ice. Joel Jamieson there with it for the Spuds, plays it ahead at center ice, but Nick Checo picks it off. Checo steers it up ahead to Matt Jones, coming in one-on-one. Jones with the shot, Gregoire the save. Spuds clear away the rebound. Here's Josh Arnold now, wheeling the center ice. Passes up ahead to Jacobson. Jacobson just steers it into the Jaguar zone and heads to the bench on a line change. Here comes Jefferson with Corey Peterson up ahead to McDonald. He'll tap it into the Moorhead zone, and the Jaguars change on the fly. Louis Paquin comes out now, a pass too far for Ryan Kraft, and it ends up back in the Jaguar zone. Spinning is Mike Crowley. His center ice pass comes right onto the stick of Court Lundin. A back pass to Brian Lafleur. Lafleur drops it into the slot. Here's a shot by Bianchi, and he rifled it over the top of the cage. Louis Paquin gets the rebound. He is hit hard by D. St. Hubert. He plays it back to the point to Crowley. He fakes a pass or shot, gets it up to Court Lundin. He's tied up, and Ryan Kraft takes over for the Spuds. Kraft circling out of his own zone now. Stick handling the center ice. Ryan Kraft across the line, and offside waved off now as Jefferson knocks it out to center ice. Wegner gives it to Billy Upgrand. He almost had it stolen, but an offside called on Jefferson with 5:51 to play. 2-0. Moorhead down by 2 goals. Jaguars scoring in the first 4 minutes. Tim McDonald at the 2:20 mark of the power play, and Joe Bianchi scoring at the 4:09 mark on an even strength goal. Face off outside the Spud line. And Matt Cullen now is chased from the face-off circle. John Haberlack comes in to take the draw. Jaguars win control. They drop it back to Anderson, and he'll flip it into the Moorhead zone. Gregoire leaves it in behind. Now steers it up to Haberlack on the left wing. Haberlack plays it up ahead to Matt Cullen. Too far for him. Anderson intercepts. Spuds bring it back in, and an offside is called with 5:32 to play. Ryan Frisch comes out, and Scott Winans replaces him on right wing now on Matt Cullen's line. Now the Jefferson center, Ian Peterson chased, and Luke Murray will take the draw for the Jaguars. Jaguars win control. It's Anderson steering it up ahead to Ian Peterson across the line, trying to feed it up ahead nicely to Luke Murray, but Scott Winans doing a good job of back checking. Now Ian Peterson steals the puck, drops it in behind for Skoglund. Skoglund trying to center, but it comes right onto the stick of Matt Cullen, and back come the Spuds. Cullen to center ice, loses control, but carrying on is Haberlack, coming in with a drive that hits traffic and goes out of play. Good defense by Jefferson. Defenseman Corey Peterson dropping right in front of that puck and getting a piece of it, steering it out of play. Moorhead with just 2 shots on goal. Josh Arnold line out now for the Spuds. Arnold has 3 goals and 4 assists in the tournament so far. Jaguars win control. Crowley steers it in behind to Lafleur. He'll start it up the right wing boards. A pass too far for Checo up ahead. He'll chase it down in the Moorhead zone. Comes in behind the Moorhead cage. Nick Checo dropping it back to the point to Crowley. His shot hits traffic. Spuds clear to the line, not out. Crowley holding it in. Fakes a shot. Still controls in the near circle. Drops it in behind for McDonald. He overskates. But Checo is there to drop it back to the point to Lafleur. A weak shot steered into the near corner. And taking it there is Matt Jones. Jones drops it back to the point to Lafleur. Now to Crowley. He's knocked off the play, but holds the puck in. It's knocked down to Matt Jones, who takes a hit. Now Arnold starts salvable back, but Crowley intercepts for the Jaguars. And Bloomington Jefferson putting on a great forecheck here in the first period. Now Moorhead's Rob Grammer starts back. Across the red line, drives it in. A shot right on, and an easy save by Keppel. And starting back now is Lafleur. Long center ice pass comes right on the stick of Justin Wegner, who fires it into the Jefferson zone. Brian Lafleur back for it. He loses control. Spuds pick it up now. Here's Ryan Kraft. Kraft tied up by Nick Checo. Kraft trying to get by the check. Brent Knutson is also there to try to help out. Kraft doing a good job of Stick handling, drops it back to the point to Jamieson. A quick shot, Keppel the save. The rebound, Paquin will drop it back to the point to Wegner. Now back to Paquin, but he loses control, and Crowley starts back for Jefferson. Up the left wing boards, across the Moorhead line. Mike Crowley still stick handling. Goes in behind the cage, had it poked away by Wegner. The puck lays loose in behind. And finally picking it up is Joel Jamieson. He's tied up by John D. St. Hubert. And Wegner now comes back in. Wegner for the Spuds, plays it up to Brent Knutson, but he had it taken away by Jefferson's Court Lundeen, but we get a face-off, or an offside called, as John D. St. Hubert was still battling with Joel Jamieson. Coming to the right of goaltender Randy Keppel. Jefferson coach Tom Satterdahl matching Moorhead line for line, using his third unit against Moorhead's third unit of Matt Cullen. And now Ryan Frisch is back on the ice to take this draw. Haberlack now trying to control, but he has the puck taken away by Mike Skoglund. Skoglund center ice pass batted down, but he carries on, flips it into the Moorhead zone. Gregoire makes a save and then covers up on the rebound and hangs on with 2:57. Break in the action. Let's pause for station identification. This is where you hear Spud hockey during the 92-93 season. Jaguars left in the Spud zone, and the Spuds win it. Cullen clears it out to, Ryan Kraft clears it out to center ice. No, that was Matt Cullen. Now a pass at center ice, batted down, and Corey Peterson gets it back for the Jaguars, flips it into the Moorhead zone. Rob Grammer is back for it. Grammer trying to elude one check. Stick handling, had it poked away by Ian Peterson. Peterson controlling in the far corner, drops it back to Dusty Anderson. A shot sticked away nicely there by Gregoire. Now a centering pass coming in front. Ian Peterson knocks it right to the cage, and Gregoire decides to hang on. 7 saves for Gregoire in the first period. They have credited Keppel with 4 saves. 2:27 to play. 2-0 Jaguars. Face off again to Gregoire's left. Josh Arnold line out. Arnold wins the draw. Gets it to big Jim Jacobson. Center ice pass now to Greg Salvovold. Salvovold, one man to beat, coming in on his backhand. Tries to steer it towards the cage. He's knocked off the play, and then the puck squirts, or rather the net squirts off its hinges. And they'll say that Salvovold was the one who did the damage, so the face-off coming in the neutral zone. Face-off outside the Jaguar line. And Bloomington Jefferson wins control with Brian LaFleur, but he loses it, and the Spuds stick it back into the Jefferson zone. Defenseman Mike Crowley there to pick it up. Spins in behind his own cage, and now gets it to LaFleur. Breakout pass to Bianchi. Sends it up to Court Lundeen on the left wing. Court Lundeen coming in with a shot. Nice save by Gregoire that time. Getting a leg on the shot. Now one of the Jaguars breaks their stick. Spuds try to break it out to center ice. Now carrying on will be Joel Jamieson. Jamieson across the line. Has Salvovold in front, but didn't see him. Jamieson slips and falls, and coming up with the puck is Mike Crowley for Bloomington Jefferson. Skating out of his own zone. Junior defenseman flips it up at center ice, where it's picked off by John Haberlack, but then re-intercepted by Bianchi. He'll flip it into the Moorhead zone and heads to the bench on a lines change. And now back come the Spuds with Louis Paquin. Paquin skating to center ice. Still coming into the Jefferson zone. Comes into the slot and is hit hard by Corey Peterson in a big check. Back comes Tim McDonald for the Jaguars. Plays it up ahead to Matt Jones. Jones with a quick shot. Gregoire the save, and he hangs on to the rebound. 2-0 Jaguars with 1:06 to play here in the first period. In the third place game, Hill Murray scored with 15.8 seconds to go to beat White Bear Lake 3-2. White Bear Lake gave Jefferson trouble for about 2 periods last night before they self-destructed and gave Hill Murray all they could do today in the third place game. Now the the Spuds win the draw, and they try to control. Haberlack sends it out to center ice to Ryan Kraft. With the last minute of play, Kraft hit hard into the boards by Dusty Anderson. Aikman now skates through one check, trying to center, but it's stolen by Corey Peterson. Peterson headmans to Jones. Back pass nicely to Dusty Anderson. Coming in, Anderson with a quick shot. Gregoire the save, and he hangs on to the rebound. Well, Jeremy Gregoire looking pretty good. I mean, neither of the goals that got by him early in the first period were his fault. One on the power play. Another one set up when he was what he, I'm sure, would term interfered with. And Bianchi had an easy tap into an open net. 39.9 seconds to play here in the first period. 2-0. Jaguars down on top of the Spuds. Face off to Gregoire's left. Josh Arnold line out now for the Spuds. And he has Matt Cullen on a wing. Now the Spuds get it out to center ice. Here's Arnold. Arnold trying to stick handle. Plays it up ahead to Salvold. Salvold is knocked down nicely by Crowley. Arnold trying to carry on for the Spuds. He's all tied up. 21 seconds to play, and now back comes Court Lundin for Jefferson. Lundin trying to get around a check of Wegner, but the Spuds re-intercept, and here's Salvold now. Salvold trying to pass it up ahead to Arnold. Puck lays loose in the neutral zone. Spuds fired into the Jaguar zone. Mike Crowley back for it with 4 seconds to play, and that'll end period number 1. The score, Jefferson 2 and Moorhead nothing. We'll return to recap the first period in 2 minutes. Yeah. Met Center, Tom Palmer with you tonight on KVOX, and after 1 period, the Jefferson Jaguars leading Moorhead 2-0 in the championship round of the 10th annual North Star Hockey Classic. Jefferson's goals in the first period, McDonald and Bianchi. McDonald's was on the power play at .220. Bianchi scored at .409. And the Spuds just talking quickly with Brad Franklin, one of the junior varsity coaches. Think they're pretty fortunate only to be 2 goals down, so they hope that they can turn things around here in the second period. Play in the Jefferson zone now, and John D. St. Hubert sends a long rink-wide pass and a breakaway for Court Lundin coming in, and he passes to Bianchi, who scores. They came in 2-0, and Lundin found Bianchi at the doorstep. Second goal of the game for Bianchi, and it's 3-0 Jaguars. And oh, do they look good. Time of the goal is 20 seconds of the second period. Bianchi's 8th of the year, 2nd of the game. Lundin and I believe D. St. Hubert will get assists on this one. And the Spuds now down 3-0. Jaguars come in with 3 shutouts on the season, and right now threatening to make Moorhead number 4. Jefferson now sending it around in their own zone. Tim McDonald with it on a pass from Matt Jones. Steers it to center ice. Rob Grammer fires it right back in. Chasing it down, defenseman Mike Crowley. Crowley will send it around now to Tim McDonald. He'll start back. Up ahead at center ice to Checo. It's off his skate into the Moorhead zone. Gregoire will hold the puck and get a face-off with 14:13 to play here in period number 2. 3-0 Jaguars. And they're out shooting the Spuds 14-5.
Scoring for Jefferson, number 15, Joe Bianchi, assisted by number 10, John D. St. Hubert, and number 19, Court Lundin.
Lundin and St. Hubert get the assists on Bianchi's 8th goal of the year. Face off now in the Moorhead zone to the right of Gregoire, controlled by Dan Frisch. Up ahead to Salvold. He'll poke it now to Josh Arnold, who starts back for the Spuds. Arnold up the right wing boards, fires it on. Keppel makes an easy stick save. Puck in behind. Salvold centers into the slot. Grammer can't hold it in. Now here come the Jaguars back with a 2-on-1. McDonald sending it in front. A shot and a goal by Nick Checo. 4-0 Jaguars. And they're taking advantage of every little tiny mistake the Spuds make in creating scoring opportunities. Checo scoring at the 1:14 mark. And the assist will go to McDonald. For Checo in the tournament, that's his 6th goal. Back to action now. Jefferson flips it into the Spud zone, and icing is called on Bloomington Jefferson. Here's their scoring.
Assistant number 12, Tim McDonald. And number 17, Matt Jones.
Matt Jones also gets an assist. And for Checo, his 7th goal of the season. 6 of those have come in this tournament. And Jefferson easily out on top by a score of 4-0. Once again, they come in averaging 7.6 goals a game while allowing only 1.1. Jaguars win control. Stick to the line by Mike Skoglund, but held in by the Spuds Jameson. Skoglund now will get it back, fires to the line, but not out. Matt Cullen holds it in. Down in the near corner for John Haberlack. He's tackled on the play. And starting back now are the Jaguars. They play it all the way down, and this will be icing on Jefferson. More complete than ever, Bearings and Drives of North Dakota is your one-stop industrial and agricultural supplier. From the farmer or contractor to the homeowner, they have what you need. Bearings and Drives in Fargo, Moorhead, and now in Grand Forks. 13-13 to play here in a slow-paced second period, but the Jaguars have scored 2 more times. They lead 4-0. Spuds trying to get something going, but they just have not been able to get close to the Jaguar net. Face off to Keppel's left. Jaguars win the draw. Bianchi steers it in behind to Crowley. Sends it to to LaFleur. Breakout pass to Bianchi. Long left wing feed to Court Lundeen. He sends it in front, and a backhander attempt by John D. St. Hubert right on. And Gregoire makes the save. Puck now fired out to center ice, and we get a whistle. And a Bloomington Jefferson Jaguar injured on the play. It was John D. St. Hubert, and I didn't see how he got hurt. But the faceoff will come outside the Jefferson line. And the puck squirts loose, and the Spuds get it and fire it. Comes, though, right to LaFleur, who picks it off and dumps it into the Moorhead zone. Ryan Kraft backboard up to Louis Paquin on the right wing. They crisscross. Oh, is Paquin knocked on a big heavy hit by Mike Crowley. He was just taken apart. Now back comes Lundeen. Court Lundeen spinning it around, feeding it in front to Bianchi. He's knocked off the play, and back come the Spuds. Ryan Kraft now speeding to center ice, gets across the Jefferson line, but is knocked hard into the boards by LaFleur, and the Jefferson defensemen continue to shine and really are the difference here in tonight's game. Now Crowley tries to play it to center ice, but Louis Paquin intercepts. Paquin hit by Bianchi, and then he gives Bianchi a shot back. Long center ice pass tipped into the Moorhead zone by Mike Anderson. Now Jameson fans on the pass in behind his own cage for the Spuds. Breakout attempt comes over the line, brought back in by Corey Peterson, an offside call. 11:49 to play, 4-0. Jefferson out on top. So far, 2 saves for Gregoire in this second period, 1 for Keppel. Back come the Spuds. They fire it into the Jefferson zone and give chase. Dusty Anderson back for it. Lures it up to Nick Checo. Fires it to center ice. It's broken up by the Spuds. Justin Wegner now bringing back in. Gives it to Arnold. He winds and fires. And a good save that time by Randy Keppel. Cleared to the line, not out. That was the best scoring chance for the Spuds. Now spinning is Wegner. Puck lays loose at center ice, and it's gathered in by Salvovold. Salvovold hit hard, though, by Corey Peterson, who continues to throw his weight around, and he'll do that all night long. Now back at center ice comes Tim McDonald. Beats it up ahead to Nick Checo across the line. Try to get it back to McDonald, but he is knocked off the play. Checo was hit hard. He gets up slow. Now McDonald tries to center, broken up by Josh Arnold. It squirts loose into the near corner. Checo goes hard into the boards with Haberlack. Puck on the near wing side now, right underneath us in the Moorhead zone. Digging it out is Matt Jones. He checks Jamieson hard. Jamieson gets it now to Arnold. Cleared to the line, but not out. Held in by Dusty Anderson. Nick Checo in the slot. The Spuds cleared away from him, but it comes right back to Jones in the slot to Checo. And now Salvovold takes over. Salvovold plays it ahead at center ice for Arnold. He eludes a check, but coughs up the puck. Now it's batted in by the Jaguars. It comes right on from Checo's stick, and Gregoire has to make a save. Comes in behind now where Haberlack has it. His breakout attempt intended for Cullen is intercepted. Shot comes right on from the stick of Luke Murray, and Gregoire hangs on to the rebound. 10-10 to play here in the second period. 4-0 Bloomington Jefferson over Moorhead. Jaguars showing why they are the #1 team in the state of Minnesota here tonight. Two goals from Bianchi, one apiece from McDonald and Checo. McDonald's goal on the power play. And each Jefferson's scored twice in each period, both coming in the first early minutes of play in each period. Now the Jaguars controlled in the Moorhead zone. Crowley fires it in behind the Moorhead cage. Comes to the near wing side where Mike Skoglund hits a Moorhead player hard. And now starting back is Matt Cullen for the Spuds. Skating into the neutral zone, tries to get around a check. Carrying on is Rory Corton. And Ryan Frisch then knocks it into the Jefferson zone. Backcourt for the Jaguars as Brian LaFleur spins in behind his own cage. Sends it in the far corner to Mike Crowley. Up the left wing boards to Luke Murray. Long rink wide pass to Skoglund coming into the Moorhead zone. He's spun around by Billy Upgren. Skoglund tries to center, but Dan Frisch takes over. Frisch tries to play it out of the zone, but it's intercepted by Ian Peterson. He's knocked off the play, and Ryan Kraft now starts back for the Spuds. Kraft up the left wing side is taken out of the play by Brian LaFleur. Jefferson gets it back, sends it all the way back down, and they wave off icing. Billy Upgrand is there for the Spuds. Long center ice pass to Rory Corton. Corton coughs it up. It lays loose, and Kraft now picks it up for the Spuds across the line, but it's poked off his stick, and back comes Jefferson. Here's Court Lundin on his off wing. Coming into the slot, Lundin a shot, he scores! 5-0 Jaguars. They can do no wrong, and Moorhead can do no right. Court Lundin, his 10th goal of the year. Team leading 10 goals. May see Troy Brecky soon if this keeps up. Time of the goal is 6:09. We'll wait to see who would get the assists on Lundin's goal. If anybody, he just carried into the slot and flipped it by Gregoire, who was a little bit out of position. Now the Spuds come back with Wegner. He loses control, and Josh Arnold has it, fires it into the Jefferson zone. Back forward, Dusty Anderson clears the line, not out. Wegner holds it in. His shot goes wide. Mike Anderson picks up the assist. Now the puck lays loose in the Jefferson zone. A shot by Arnold comes right on. Now comes back to the point to Jamieson. His shot hits traffic, rebounds off the end boards, and Salvold wasn't able to get to it. Dusty Anderson does. Cleared to the line, now poked out by Bianchi. Intercepted at center ice by Jamieson. Now Arnold has it, plays it up ahead to Salvold, and we get a whistle, and we're going to have some penalties. As Jamieson lost his glove, and so does Court Lundin, and they're both going to the sin bin, it looks like. Time of the penalties will be 6:57. offsetting Miners.
Minor penalty on Moorhead's number 13, Joel Jameson, 2 minutes for roughing. Minor penalty on Jefferson's number 19, Court Lundy, 2 minutes also for roughing.
They both go off for roughing at 6:57. And so the face-off in the neutral zone. 4-on-4 hockey now for the next 2 minutes. Play controlled by Matt Jones. Swings it back for Crowley. Back pass now to LaFleur. A return to Crowley. He'll start out to center ice. Feeds it up to Checo on the right wing. Checo in the near circle, trying to come in front. Goes in behind the Moorhead cage instead. Goes to the far wing boards. Centers in front for Crowley. Crowley looking to set up Jones in the slot. His shot tipped in front. Goes wide. Rebound off the end boards. And it comes to Dan Frisch, and he'll start back for the Spuds. Frisch skating up the right wing boards, trying to stick handle in. Frisch pushes his way into the zone, gets a weak backhander off. Matt Cullen now has it for the Spuds. He's knocked off the play. Haverlack then dumps it in behind, but intercepting for the Jaguars is Mike Crowley. Crowley skating to center ice up the right wing boards into the Moorhead zone. Puts on the brakes in the near circle. Crowley back passes to Matt Jones. Centers it in the slot for Checo. Dumps it right on, and Gregoire makes the save and don't control. Arnold pushes it out to center ice. Tries to get around a check. Has Paquin with him. Arnold flips it towards the cage, but it goes in behind. Paquin is there. Feeds it in front for Arnold, but he's tied up. And back comes Jefferson with Bianchi. Bianchi's stick handling the center ice. Now circles to try to get things set up. Drops it back to Dusty Anderson. Anderson returns it to Bianchi. He didn't see the pass, but he'll chase it down in the Moorhead zone. Bianchi centers it right across the slot. Tim McDonald was there to track it down. Drops it in behind for Bianchi. Bianchi knocked off the play by Justin Wegner, who picks up the puck, and he gives it to Ryan Kraft. Kraft now starts out at center ice. Tries to get by one check. Flips it into the Jefferson zone and gives chase along with Paquin. Paquin knocks it down, but Keppel comes out to steer it away, and Dusty Anderson picks it up for Bloomington Jefferson. Anderson steers it up the boards for Bianchi. He loses control. Ryan Kraft gets it back, plays it to the Jefferson line. Now the Jaguars get it back. Dusty Anderson touches it, and he had played it with a high stick. So a face-off comes in the Jefferson zone with 6:05 to go here in the second period. 5-0 Bloomington Jefferson. And then be back at full strength. Face-off to Keppel's right. It'll be Matt Cullen taking the draw against Ian Peterson. Everybody's ready now. Puck is dropped. The Spuds don't win it, and skating out to center ice to Skoglund. Plays it ahead to Ian Peterson, coming into the Moorhead zone. Puts on the brakes. Drops it into the slot to Skoglund. Shot, a save, a rebound, and that one is kicked out by Gregoire as well. Puck comes loose, centered by Peterson. Luke Murray got a stick on it, but didn't get it on goal. And back come the Spuds out to center ice. Grammer flips it into the Jefferson zone. They play it to the line, but not out. Grammer holds it in. Now Matt Cullen knocks down a Jaguar, and that player, Brian LaFleur, ends up on top of the puck. And play is stopped with 5:33 to play. Spuds win control here. Salvovold sticking it to the near wing boards, and it's cleared out to center ice by Nick Checo. Salvovold now head mans to Arnold. Arnold will hit hard by Brian LaFleur. Boy, these defensemen for Jefferson are impressive. Now a long pass to Checo off his stick into the Moorhead zone. Checo chases it down in behind, drops it back to LaFleur at the near point. He'll play it down low to Matt Jones. Jones centering for Checo. His centering pass across the crease is knocked away. Another shot, went right through the crease and just wide off of LaFleur's stick. Now Checo with it. Stick handling around into the high slot. Drops it back, but it'll be intercepted by Josh Arnold. He'll just play it up ahead and is nudged off the play. Now Arnold trying to muscle it into the Jefferson zone. Salvovold gets it back. Salvovold on his backhand being hounded by Crowley. Crowley finally knocks him off the play. Now the puck lays loose at center ice where Ryan Kraft has it. Fires it into the Jefferson zone, and we have wholesale changes on both teams. Coming out for the Jaguars is Crowley. He'll steer it all the way down, and this will be icing on Jefferson. 4:26 to play, breaking the action. 5-0 Jaguars. We'll be back in a minute. Let's make it 30 seconds. Action now. The Jaguars coming in. Court Lundin with a shot and a glove save by Gregoire. He came out and robbed Court Lundin, who was looking for his second consecutive goal. He scored at the 6:09 mark to make it 5-0 for Gregoire. That's his 19th. He has been busy. Face off to his right. Matt Cullen now chased from the face-off circle, and Haberlack will have to come back in. Jaguars win the draw. A quick shot by Luke Murray hits traffic in front. It squirts to the side of the cage and knocked down now by Haberlack. Haberlack tries to play it back to the point, and it's taken there by Ryan Frisch. Frisch is tied up by Crowley. Crowley just knocks him off the play nicely. And back come the Jaguars. Here's Ian Peterson skating into the Moorhead zone. Tries to play it up ahead for Luke Murray. Murray checked hard to the end boards by Dan Frisch. And now the Spuds start back with Matt Cullen. Cullen up the right wing boards. Coming down, he's tripped up and will get a Jefferson penalty. And a Moorhead power play. Hooking is the call. And it'll be Luke Murray, I believe, going up. Time of the penalty is 11:49 of the second period. Checo and Anderson and Matt Jones and Corey Peterson out to kill off the penalty. Here's Wegner, tees it up, fakes, gives it to Jacobson. His weak shot hits traffic. Ryan Kraft now trying to chase it down in behind the Jefferson cage. Kraft coming to the near wing boards, still being chased, drops it back to Arnold. The return to Kraft, he loses control, is pounded down to the ice. Louis Paquin now trying to get it, comes back to Arnold, now to Wegner. Wegner looking, coming to the high slot, lets it go, hits traffic in front, lays loose, and it scores! Louis Paquin scores on the power play, and it's 5-1 now as the Spuds have finally cracked goaltender Randy Keppel. For Paquin, his third goal of the year, second power play goal. 12:25 the time of that goal. I believe Wegner will get an assist. We'll have to wait to see if anybody else does. On the face-off, Jaguars control. Intercepted at center ice. Well, they give Kraft the assist. Now here's Jacobson trying to center it. Comes right to the crease where Keppel dives out on top of it. Paquin from Kraft at 12:25 is the official scoring. So the Spuds get on the scoreboard in the second period. It's now 5-1. Face-off will come to Keppel's right. And the Jaguars win control. Dusty Anderson spinning in behind his own cage. Sends it up to D. St. Hubert on the right wing. Center ice pass to Bianchi. Now to the left wing to Court Lundin. Coming in one-on-one. Lundin drops it back to the point. Winding and firing as Corey Peterson. His shot goes wide. D. St. Hubert gets the rebound. Drops it in behind for Bianchi. Centers off the side of the cage. D. St. Hubert now puts it in front, and it's picked off by Justin Wegner. Up to Jacobson at center ice. Jacobson plays it to Arnold. Back to Jim Jacobson. Now to Josh Arnold. He tried to pass it into the slot to Wegner, but it was broken up and dumped out to center ice by the Jaguars. Spuds dump it right back in. Spuds going in a wholesale line change. Center ice pass broken up nicely by Billy Upgrand. Upgrand plays it ahead to Matt Cullen. Cullen pokes it up ahead, but now it's tossed out to center ice, and Lundin hustling after it. But they call icing before he can get to it. So with 1:23 to go here in the second period, 5-1 Jaguars in a faceoff coming back into Bloomington Jefferson zone. Spuds have just not been able to get on track, and when they do start to move the puck around, they're met at the blue line by the Jefferson defensemen, and that's been the big key tonight, as Jefferson has used their size and strength to just muscle Moorhead off the play. The Jaguars have showed that they have some speed as well to go along with their size and strength. Face off to Keppel's right. Matt Cullen out to take the draw again. He wins the draw. Back to Rob Grammer. Grammer sends it in front. Oh, it bounces past everybody. Ryan Frisch now trying to chase it down in the far circle. Frisch loses control, and Crowley sends it in behind LaFleur. His pass hits a skate, comes to Matt Cullen, but batted away from him and out to center ice. Rob Grammer has it now. Grammer spins away from one check, sends it to the Jefferson line where Crowley intercepts. Back pass to LaFleur. Center ice pass to Ian Peterson. He'll drop it back for LaFleur. He loses control, and Grammer flips it back into the neutral zone. Mike Crowley corrals it for Jefferson, spins at his own line, now starts to center ice. Across the Moorhead line into the slot. His shot hits traffic, and it's gathered in by Ryan Kraft. Kraft coming in at center ice. 3-on-2. Kraft trying to power his way towards the side of the cage. He centers it, but Keppel was there to knock it away. Now it's Mike Skoglund coming into the Moorhead zone. It's by a check of Louis Paquin. Chases the puck in behind the Moorhead cage. Skoglund now sends it in behind, but there to pick it off is Justin Wegner. Wegner plays it up ahead to Kraft. He can't hold it. Shot from the point by Ian Peterson is gloved and hung on to by Jeremy Gregoire. 14.9 seconds to play here, second period. 5-1 Jaguars. The championship game last year, it was 6-2 Jefferson. The Jaguars well on their way to another victory here tonight, unless Moorhead can figure out a way to break through their defense. Now Rory Corton is out as a line mate with Ryan Kraft to take the face-off. Shot from the point from Dusty Anderson. Comes around, and a rebound and a goal by Matt Jones. Dusty Anderson's shot, I don't believe it got through traffic. Matt Jones was there to knock the puck in, though, off the rebound. And it's 6-1 Jefferson. For Jones, his 7th goal of the year. Time of the goal, 14:52. I believe Dusty Anderson will get 1 assist. We'll wait to see if anybody else gets one.
Number 17, Matt Jones, assisted by number 22, Dusty Anderson.
Anderson picking up the only assist, Dusty Anderson. Jones scoring on his own rebound. And the play now in the neutral zone. Arnold feeds it to Salvoval, trying to come into the Jefferson zone, but he's knocked off the play, and there's the horn to end period number 2. The score, Jefferson 6, the Spuds 1. We'll recap period number 2 in 2 minutes.
Probably playing somebody who can beat them, who can actually make a play and beat them. It's an eye-opening experience for him. And Terry Cullen, being a very sharp coach, sure is going to take this tape home and say, boys, don't worry about it. It's one game. It doesn't matter too much. But I want you to see something. Here, let's see yourself actually make a mistake, because you haven't made many of them so far this year.
And that's a good point to bring up. You talked about lucky goals earlier. I think Jefferson probably gave up the only lucky goal they will all year last night to White Bear Lake. It was on a long shot from center ice, and Keppel just misplayed it, and it ended up behind him.
Well, the one thing that people do say about this Jefferson team is that their goalies don't get tested, and they're a little suspicious of it. Well, we've heard this a lot, though. I know you spent many years in Grand Rapids when they said that about Grand Rapids goalies, and it may be true. They only face 10, 12 shots, but if you're only facing 10, 12 shots, you can be a pretty good goaltender. You and I could stand in there with 10, 12 shots and feel semi-confident about the whole thing.
Right, that's for sure. But at the same time, they're all facing some awfully good players in practice.
Well,
they are getting tested in practice.
That will make you better.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, it's been nice chatting and seeing with you again, David, and I'm sure that we'll see each other again, hopefully state tournament time.
Well, I'm sure, just from what people have told me about the section, that Moorhead certainly is going to be the letter favorite. And, sometimes there are coaches who will tell you, I don't want the challenge till late in the year, but Terry Cullen, just from the little I've known of him in the past, it strikes me as the sort of guy who probably really secretly was hoping, hey, I want to play them now and find out just what can I do, what can we do against them, and what are we going to have to get better at.
Exactly.
There are losses that you learn from. And this one appears to be one that they're going to learn from and go back and take it home and say, okay, fine, we'll learn a few things.
And
tonight.
I'm being sincerely honest here. I'm not really sure Jefferson can get much better.
Well, that's a good point, because one of the things Satterdahl was saying was, he says, he says we got a real good club, and that's an understatement there. But he said we got some guys who are playing as well as they can right now who are really flying. And obviously, you want to play your best hockey of the year the second week in March.
That's right.
Not necessarily last week in December. Jefferson last year did not play very well in the first half of the year. They lost in this tournament very early. They played their best hockey in March, as did Moorhead last year. They played their best hockey in March. That's a fair point. They're going to play in a very, very tough league, but a league that they look like that they can handle pretty well, whereas Moorhead, the way it was set up for them, they'll be sort of building themselves a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if we're sitting here talking again on the second Saturday in March at the Civic Center. That wouldn't surprise me in the least.
No, it wouldn't. That's for sure.
See the same two teams.
I just want to point out now, I talked a little bit about when we first introduced you, that you're now involved with the St. Paul Saints in the Northern League Baseball.
No, not the hockey team.
Not the hockey team, that's right.
And of course, people in Fargo will remember that it looked like for a while they were going to have a Northern League team, and it didn't work out. But, we'll start next June. We'll play what they call the short A schedule, 72 games at Municipal Stadium. And our first game will be, in fact, June 15th in Duluth. It's a 6-team league, us, Duluth, Rochester, Sioux City, Sioux Falls, and I love this name, the Thunder Bay Whiskey Jacks.
Thunder Bay Whiskey Jacks. I saw that in the paper, and I said, there is the name of all names.
You know what? You wouldn't believe this. Thunder Bay, you think it's a liquor thing. It's a bird.
That's right.
It's a bird, believe it or not. Well, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a lot of fun. Mike Veck is our owner, Bill Veck's son, and he's clearly Bill Veck's son. He's a different guy, and Bill Murray is one of our owners. And he's promised he's going to be there for opening night.
Really?
So, the reaction's been pretty good. We sold about 300 season tickets so far, and just the fact that it's outside and everything, I'm very pleased. We're having a lot of fun. It'll be a good time.
What's really neat about it is it's a totally independent minor league. You won't have any major league affiliation.
No, not at all. And that was done by design. The guy who runs the league is a guy named Miles Wolf, who if you saw the movie Bull Durham, that was his club.
Right.
The Durham Bulls, and the things they did there, that's the stuff he wants to do. So it's old-fashioned minor league baseball in a different setting, and I think it's going to be a real good time. I'm looking forward to it, but of course, right now
saying. But chatting with us between the second and third periods here, the score, Jaguars 6, Spuds 1, and we'll have third period action in 1 minute.
Thanks, Tommy.
Appreciate it.
Anytime you need something, I can keep you up with what's going on down there.
Okay. Yeah, I might give you a call.
Send me that text.
Yeah, sure will. I'll get you on the mailing list when I get back. The Spuds 6-1. We're back to action. The Jaguars control, and it's flipped in by Court Lundin in the Moorhead zone. John D. St. Hubert centers it out front to Lundin, and a shot hit the post. Comes out now to LaFleur on the left point, sends it into the slot where it's intercepted by Scott Winans. Winans over skates, and Louis Paquin, though, carries on, plays it up ahead to Ryan Kraft, coming in a shot. He put it wide. The rebound off the end boards comes to Bianchi, fires it all the way down, and this will be icing on Jefferson. 14:29 to play, and we'll have a face-off in the Jefferson zone. Say, just a reminder, don't forget we have plenty of seats available for the Viking Sports buses this weekend as they host the Washington Redskins at the Metrodome, 11:30 Saturday morning. We'll be leaving early Saturday from our KVOX studios. We'll have a weekend of fun, see the Vikings on Saturday, and then take in the Mall of America on Sunday. So we should have a pretty good time. On the face-off, Spuds win the draw. A shot by Frisch is blocked by Tim McDonald. McDonald now forcing his way into the Moorhead zone. Plays it inside to Checo. Checo fans on a shot and ends up to the side of the Moorhead cage where Rob Grammer gets it back. Grammer tries to play it ahead, and Josh Arnold now starts back for Moorhead. Arnold plays it up the right wing to Salvovold. Salvovold eludes one check of Corey Peterson, but Dusty Anderson is there. He goes hard into the boards with Salvovold. And now Nick Checo picks it up for Jefferson. Center ice pass to Matt Jones. Passes between his legs to Tim McDonald. A return to Jones. He brings it into the Moorhead zone. Gets around one check. Chases it down in the far circle. Oh, he and Dan Frisch go hard to the boards, and Frisch gets the worst of that. Jones centers it back into the slot, and still getting up after that play was Jim Jacobson. He got up very slowly, and it will be coming off the ice. It looks like he's okay, but they blew the whistle just to make sure Jake was okay. He skated off under his own power, but he'll be attended to on the bench. 13:41 to play, 6-1. Spuds out on top. Face off in the neutral zone. Spuds win control. Rory Corton now playing a shift on defense, and John Haberlack comes up with it. Tried to pass to Ryan Frisch on the near wing boards, but it's stuck back into the Moorhead zone by Luke Murray. Comes back out to center ice. Mike Crowley has it to LaFleur. A return to Crowley. Crowley backpedaling into his own zone. Now feeds it up at center ice for Mike Skoglund. Skoglund over skates, and Rory Corton is there, and he is hit hard by Crowley. Now bringing the puck in is Luke Murray. Drops it into the slot for Skoglund. Ian Peterson then takes a whack at it. Couldn't get it. Now LaFleur with it. Drops it back for Crowley at the point. A return to LaFleur in the near corner. LaFleur drops it in behind. Hustling after it is Murray. A centering pass to Ian Peterson. He'll fire it back now down to Luke Murray on the near wing corner. Spuds try to get control, but it comes back to Murray, who drops it back to Crowley. He winds and fires, blocked nicely by a sliding Ryan Frisch. The Jaguars get it fired into the Moorhead zone. Gregoire will leave it in behind for Justin Wegner. Wegner now coming out. Feeds it up ahead to Kraft. Taps it to Louis Paquin. Paquin is just knocked to the ice on a heavy hit by D. St. Hubert. Now here's Kraft with it. Drops it into the slot. It was behind Paquin, and it comes all the way back into the Moorhead zone. Chasing it down is Joel Jameson. Jameson now feeds it past Billy Upgrand. It comes onto the stick of Joe Bianchi. In behind, a pass to D. St. Hubert is picked off by Upgrand, and he starts the Spuds back. Upgrand now tries to play it up ahead to Ryan Kraft. Kraft at center ice, plays it to Louis Paquin on the left wing. Paquin puts on the brakes. Hit hard to the boards by Dusty Anderson. And the Spuds still controlling with Joel Jameson, but he loses it to Bianchi. Feeds it out at center ice for Court Lundeen. Lundeen on the left wing, putting the brakes on. Coming in front, he shoots, and a nice save by Gregoire. Rebound comes in front to Bianchi, and his shot hit the post. Now the play in behind to D. St. Hubert. Gives it to Bianchi in the far corner. Drops it back, Dusty Anderson. Right point shot, right on. Gregoire the save, and he hangs on with D. St. Hubert all over him. 6-1 Jaguars with 11:33 to play here in the 1992 Met Center Classic. Face-off will come to Gregoire's left. Spuds' next contest Saturday night at Thief River Falls, and we'll have that game for you on KVOX. Josh Arnold's line out now. Arnold gets the draw, feeds it up to Jacobson on the left wing. Jacobson plays it ahead to Salvovold. Salvovold coming across, trying to get by the check of Crowley. They both go hard down and behind. Now Josh Arnold with it. Arnold still stick handling, plays it in behind to Salvovold. He's tied up by Crowley. And Crowley now gets the puck back. And now we're going to get a penalty on the Spud Salvovold as he'll go off for hooking, but the Jaguars control. Coming to center ice is Nick Checo into the Moorhead zone on his backhand. Coming in front, it squirts just wide. Checo now sends it right to the side of the cage, and the Spuds finally get control. And Salvovold will go off for high sticking. Time of the penalty is 4:06. It's 4th penalty on the Spuds. And so the Jaguars go on the power play, and they're already up by 5 goals. Face-off coming to Gregoire's right. Referee still trying to get players separated and balanced for the face-off. Cullen against Checo. Cullen wins the draw. Wegner then clears it to the line, but held in by Bianchi. He'll drop it back to D. St. Hubert, but it's picked up by Josh Arnold, and he'll fire to the line, held in by Crowley nicely to Bianchi on the near wing boards. Rink-wide pass comes right to the side of the cage. Gregoire knocks it down, and the shot goes over the top of the cage. It comes back to Bianchi. He's tied up, but gets the puck to D. St. Hubert. He has it knocked away by Wegner, but Bianchi gets it back to Crowley at the near point. Sends it rink wide to Court Lundin. Lundin sends it rink wide to Bianchi. A shot knocked down in front. And the Spuds try to clear, but not out. Crowley held it in, but then Haberlack knocks it all the way down into the Jefferson zone. Bianchi back forward up to Court Lundin on the left wing. He knocks it into the Moorhead zone right on. Gregoire with the easy stick save. Jameson is there. We'll play it up ahead to Ryan Kraft. Kraft cannot control and clear. Now the puck lays loose right in the slot area, and Gregoire dives out on top of it. And also the best that some other hockey aficionados have said they looked as well. Face off again to Gregoire's right. Moorhead controls with Kraft. He spins, clears to the line, not out, held in by Corey Peterson. Now to Lafleur on the near wing boards to Matt Jones. Back out to Corey Peterson at the right point. He'll steer it in behind the Moorhead cage. Chasing it down is Dan Frisch. He gets it to Ryan Kraft. Kraft stick handling. Going by a pick play and try to get it out to Louis Paquin, but it goes right under Paquin, sticking all the way down. Keppel out to clear it away to the near wing boards. Lafleur has it. Lafleur, though, had it taken away by Kraft. Poked away from him by Tim McDonald, who starts back for the Jaguars. Across the Spud line, McDonald stick handling in front. Fakes one shot, fanned on another. Now drops it in behind for Ian Peterson. Back to the point to Corey Peterson, right side. In behind now to Tim McDonald. McDonald tied up on the play by Jameson. And now we get a whistle and a hand pass called on the Jaguars. So with 9:01 to play, Arnold to take the draw against number 4 for Jefferson. I don't see his number on the. It's Derek Camuel. Now coming back into the Jaguar zone is Mike Skoglund. He's spun around. Cleared to the line, but not out. Held in by Dusty Anderson. Tries to get it up ahead to Camuel, but he's knocked off the play, and the Spuds now start back with Rob Grammer. Grammer skating the center ice up the left wing boards. Coming into the Jaguar zone on his forehand. He put it right across the crease, but nobody was home for the Spuds. Salvold now holds it in momentarily, but Camuel was able to knock it out to center ice. Wegner spins and fires it back into the Jaguar zone. Dusty Anderson chasing it down. He overskates. Salvold tries to center, but that's picked off by the Jaguars. Now Josh Arnold gets it back. Arnold, though, stuck hard to the sideboards. Salvold tries to pass into the slot. That's picked off by Corey Anderson. Up ahead to Mike Skoglund coming in. Skoglund with a blast, and he got the shot off, but Gregoire got a piece of it and steered it in behind. Clear to the line, not out. Bianchi holds it in. His shot hits traffic. Rebounds to the near wing boards. And it comes to the side of the cage where Gregoire holds on with 7:46 to play. 6-1 Jaguars. 2 goals from Bianchi. Single tallies from McDonald, Checo, Lundin, and Jones. And the only goal for the Spuds, Louis Paquin on the power play at the 12:25 mark of the second period. Face off to Gregoire's right. Matt Cullen is out with Jason Redfield. Redfield tries to get control of the puck, but it comes right to the stick of John Haberlack. Up to Redfield on the right wing, but his pass intercepted by Court Lundin. Plays it into the Moorhead zone. Matt Cullen is back there for it. Cullen comes out, plays it to Haberlack on the left wing. Haberlack now skating to center ice, trying to get by the check of Lafleur, but plays it into the Jaguar zone. Matt Cullen chasing it down, but Mike Crowley is there first for the Jaguars. Plays it to Lundin. He'll clear it to the line. Not out. Now it's kicked out to center ice, but Grammer intercepts and plays it right back into the Jaguar zone. Puck lays in behind the Jaguar cage. Bianchi plays it up to Court Lundin on the right wing. Lundin now sticks it out to center ice. Matt Jones. Jones over skates. And Billy Upgrand now plays it back. Spuds Matt Cullen coming into the Jaguar zone. He over skates, and Bianchi now will take over. Passes out to center ice. It's tipped and intercepted by Scott Winans for the Spuds, but he coughs it up to Lafleur. Lafleur has the puck poked off his stick, but then the Jaguars get it and fire it all the way down. Catching up with it first is Matt Jones for Jefferson. Jones stick handling on the near wing boards. Throws it in behind for Checo. Back to Jones. A centering pass hits traffic. Jones tries to drop it back to the point. He's tied up by Winans and goes down in a heap. Another Jefferson player slips and falls, and now Ryan Kraft starts back for the Spuds. Kraft trying to get around a check of Corey Peterson, but Peterson upends him at center ice on a nice hip check. And back now comes Tim McDonald into the Jefferson zone, drops it back to Matt Jones in the slot. His return into the slot is picked off by Ryan Kraft. Kraft now passes to his right wing. Nobody is there for the puck, and it squirts out to center ice where Rob Grammer has it. Plays it over to Salvovold. He loses control. Now carrying in is Arnold. Gets it back to Salvovold coming into the slot. He's pulled down. We're going to have a Jefferson penalty. Arnold drops it back to the point. Here's Grammer. Plays it rink wide to Frisch. Frisch, a quick shot. That hits traffic in front. Goes to the far wing boards. Puck still is loose, and it's finally picked up by Dusty Anderson. And we get a hooking call. And it's on Corey Peterson, and he says, "Who, me?" And the time of the penalty will be 9:26. Third penalty on Jefferson. Peterson going off for hooking, and so the Spuds in the power play, where they are 1 for 1 so far tonight. Face-off coming to Keppel's right. And on the power play, the Spuds have Salvovold, Cullen, and Haberlack up front. Arnold and Wegner on the points. And the puck is won by the Jaguars. They fired back into the Moorhead zone. Wegner turning in his own line. Plays it to Arnold. Flips it up ahead to Salvovold. Salvovold losing control momentarily, bringing it back in. Pulled down, and getting the puck is Lafleur. Plays it to Bianchi. Rink wide pass to Crowley. Crowley had a player breaking, didn't see Court Lundin. Lundin will chase down the loose puck in the Moorhead zone. Then over skates, and John Haberlack gets it back for the Spuds. Haberlack speeds up the left wing boards. Coming into the Jefferson zone, tries to split the defense. Puck comes right on. Keppel has to make an easy save, his first of the period. Clear to the line. Wegner holds it in, but then coughs it right up to Crowley. He fires it out to center ice. Josh Arnold has a go off behind his back, but then he picks it up off of Court Lundin's stick. Arnold coming in with a blast. That one goes wide to the far corner. Ryan Kraft now gets control of the puck. His back pass picked off, and we're going to get a breakaway by Nick Checo. Checo coming in all alone. He shoots, and he put it wide. Back come the Spuds with Kraft up the left wing boards. Check the right wing boards. Moves into the neutral zone. Now coming into the Jefferson zone, still controlling. Kraft over skates, and now Lafleur starts back from behind his own cage. Long center ice pass picked off nicely by Joel Jamieson. He starts back. 36 seconds in the power play. Jamieson fires into the slot, and Kraft fanned on it. Rob Grammer plays it in behind the Jaguar cage. Jim Jacobson now controlling for the Spuds. Tries to center, but it's picked off by Crowley, and he'll fire it off the glass and all the way down. 20 seconds left on the Moorhead power play. 3:52 to go in the game. Rob Grammer now starting back for the Spuds. Speeding the center ice across the Jefferson line. Goes around a couple of checks. Coming in, he shoots, and he didn't score. Puck lays loose, and now some pushing and shoving, but Keppel made the save. Grammer got it high into the air. And somehow Keppel, while laying on his back, got a glove up to bat it down and then pounced on top of it in the crease. But a nice individual effort that time by Rob Grammer. 3:41 to play. 6-1. The Spuds are down by 5. We're seeing a very distorted instant replay on our TV monitor, so hard to see if Keppel actually kept that one out from going over the line in midair. Face off to his right with 3:41 to play. Spuds win the trot, comes back to Jamieson, left point, quick wrist shot, tipped it in front to Ryan Frisch, and sliding across was Keppel to make the save. His third save of the period. Just 1 second left on the power play now, and Corey Peterson will rejoin the battle. But it hasn't been fun tonight for the Spuds. Jefferson has just been too strong and too quick. Spuds win the draw. Comes back to Wegner. Wegner with a quick shot. That hits traffic. It's loose in front where Dusty Anderson clears it away. Turning though is Matt Cullen as he intercepts a loose puck. Spinning at the line. Cullen drops it back for Wegner. Plays it to Joel Jamieson at the left point. Jamieson tried to get it to Jason Redfield, but Ian Peterson takes over for Jefferson. Peterson coming across the line on his backhand. A quick shot. That goes wide in the near corner. Comes out to the point. Corey Peterson with a shot. That goes wide in behind. Now Wegner knocking Luke Murray off the play, but Murray trying to gather control. Knocks it in behind for Mike Skoglund. Skoglund taken out of the play. It's cleared out of the corner, and now the Spuds break out. Here's Ryan Frisch. Center ice pass too far for Matt Cullen. Taking over is Dusty Anderson. He loses control. The puck squirts high in the air, and it comes down to Ian Peterson. Plays it ahead for Skoglund coming into the Moorhead zone. A shot over the top of the cage. Jim Jacobson chases it down, clears it out to center ice where Brian LaFleur has it. He'll play it back to his own line to Mike Crowley. Up ahead at center ice for Luke Murray. He gets a shot right on. Gregoire makes a save. Puck lays loose in behind the Moorhead zone. Wegner then had it taken away by Bianchi. Bianchi centers to Crowley, but it hops over his stick. He saves it before it goes over the line, but then coughs it up to Josh Arnold. Ahead to Salvovold. Back to Arnold coming into the Jefferson zone. Arnold with a shot. That goes just wide. Grammer holds it in far point. Back to Arnold, but he overskates, and Jefferson comes back, but they don't get it out as Salvovold held it in just momentarily, and it's poked off his stick to center ice. Now the Spuds put it back in, but batted right back out. Dan Frisch puts it right back on the stick now of Mike Crowley. Crowley to the floor, center ice pass to Bianchi, goes off a stick and out of play with 1:45 to go here in period number 3. 6-1. Jaguars will go to 9-0, and the Spuds will suffer their first loss in 8 games. Spuds now send out Scott Winans, Ryan Kraft, and Jason Redfield. Makeshift line with Dan Frisch and Rob Grammer back on defense. Spuds win the draw with Grammer. Stick handling across the line, coming in. That's a quick shot go. Keppel makes the save and hangs on with 1:37 to go. That's his 4th save of this period and 11th of the game. Spuds have been outshot to this point 31-12. So it hasn't been pretty for Moorhead. Face off to Keppel's right. Kraft taking the draw against Derek Camwell. Camwell wins it, squirts it out to center ice, and he has a 2-on-1. Camwell coming in, passes up ahead, a shot and a goal. And scored by Mark Parrish to make it 7-1. Time of the goal is 13:34. That's Mark Parrish's first goal of the year. I believe Camel will pick up the assist. So a minute 26 to play, and it's 7-1 Jaguars. Pretty play as Camel fed Parrish in front.
Number 3, Mark Parrish. Assisted by number 4, Derek Cameo. And number 7, Mike Anderson.
Mike Anderson also gets an assist, and here comes Matt Cullen right back. Cullen feeding it into the slot, and Haberlack wasn't able to get a stick on it. And now they give running time as the Spuds are down by 6 goals. Cleared to the line, not out. Puck flung around the far wing boards where Upgrand holds it in. He'll drop it in behind the Jefferson cage. And behind there with it is Chris Lenton. Plays it back for Scott Ludwig. Back to Lenton. Whoa! A big heavy hit, that time thrown by Rory Corton on Mark Parrish. And I mean, he just decked him. Now comes in front to Matt Cullen, and he scores! Well, Matt Cullen getting his second goal of the tournament as the Spuds put on some pressure. It was centered out in front. And Uncle Tim, who's standing up in the press box, likes that one. 7-2. Time of the goal will be 14:30. And I don't know if anybody will get an assist on that one.
Scoring for Moorhead, number 7, Matt Cullen. Assisted by number 15, John Haberlack. And number 14, Rory Cortez.
Haberlack and Corton get the assists.
Haberlack and Cortez at 14:29.
So some revenge for the Spuds there, but still losing to a very strong Bloomington Jefferson team. 23.1 seconds to play now. On the face-off, Spuds control. A quick shot by Jacobson comes to the side of the cage. Knocking it down there is defenseman Scott Ludwig. It's cleared to the line. 11 seconds. Not out. Held in by Wegner. He fires it in behind the Jefferson cage. Now Ludwig with it. And he fires it all the way down. And that'll do it. The Bloomington Jefferson Jaguars have defeated Moorhead by a score of 7-2 in the finals of the 1992 North Star Hockey Classic. We'll come back and recap tonight's game in just 2 minutes. Yeah, I'll just do them real quick. To their bench area, and it has I don't know if that's a replica or actually is the hat worn by Willard Eichela for many years on the Edina Hornet bench. Let's recap the scoring in tonight's contest as Jefferson wins by a score of 7-2. Tim McDonald scored first at the 2:20 mark on the power play from John D. St. Hubert and Ben LaFleur. Then at 4:09 it was Joe Bianchi, his first of 2 tonight from LaFleur. And that was the scoring in the first period, 2-0, Bloomington Jefferson. The Jaguars scored 3 times to begin with in the second period. Bianchi from Lundin and D. St. Hubert. And Checo from McDonald and Matt Jones at 1:14. Those first 2 goals coming in the first minute 14 of play. At the 6:09 mark, it was Lundin from Mike Anderson. That made it 5-0. And then the Spuds finally scored in the power play. Louis Paquin picking up his 3rd goal of the year to make it 5-1. Paquin getting the goal from Kraft. Paquin's 3rd of the year, 2nd in the